we are back to part 4 of creating a sub-synth that is mathematically synced with the BPM of the track. So in the last video we just made a very simple subtractive sine wave synthesizer. Wow, that's a cool sentence. A simple subtractive sine wave synthesizer, which I need to arm. So we just use a very basic cycle for the sine wave, and then that is controlled by an ADSR envelope, which I need to give some values. Turn it up a bit. Very good. Now in this video I need to start thinking about how we're going to get the pitch of the sine wave to be synced with the BPM. Lots of really good comments in the previous videos, lots of people pointing out things that I did wrong, which I really appreciate, but I will probably do them again, so please keep reminding me as to anything. Really interested in what people have to say about this, and this is a learning experience for me. So let's talk about getting the frequency in. First off, let's test that this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this make note. We don't need that. I want to just simply trigger the sine wave. I want to set the phase to 0 when it receives a note in. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. I'm also going to get rid of this, and I'm even going to just bypass the ADSR. So I'm just going to make this a ×1. So that's just continuously putting out a sine wave, currently at 65 whatever hertz. And when I click on 0, it should rephase that for us back to the starting point. So when the note in comes in, I want it to simply bang. It needs to be the velocity, so we'll go cell 0. So when anything other than 0 comes in, trigger the phase reset of the sine wave. Let's go ahead and set this to 60 hertz. We'll go into our live project, make sure this is on 60. Now if we put in a long note here, a MIDI clip, it can be any note, doesn't matter, we just need the note to re-trigger that phase. Put that in there. This will take the audio from subsynth 1. In the last video I was using resample, which added some noise at the start, or some stuff that we didn't want. So this time I'm taking it directly from the source. And let's just go record. First let's check, okay, let's mute that. First let's check that the waveform is in fact starting at the 0 phase point. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Oh no, it doesn't look like it's exactly right. Oh no. I wonder what's going on there. Let's try to record it again, see what happens. Make sure we unmute this. It doesn't seem to be resetting the phase. Maybe I've made an error. Maybe I need to... I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This might break it. But I'm just going to send a huge amount of bang messages into that 0 while I'm recording. No, don't be stupid, Tom. That's too many. So this is just going to pummel that re-trigger. And then we can just see how that affects the recording. Okay, so we're playing, we're recording. Let's hit that. So that should have shown up in the waveform. Let's zoom out a bit. That doesn't seem to have affected the waveform, so I'm doing something wrong. Okay. Let me make this, I don't know, 0.5 hertz, just so I can watch this moving. So clicking 0 does not reset the cycle. Okay, time to open up the help file. I always thought that did reset the phase. Here's the phase. Controls the phase of a cycle. The phase goes from 0 to 1 in either of the signal bits. Okay. I'm going to Google that and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is interesting. This is totally something I didn't know. This answer here from the awesome Christopher DeBryan. Blah, 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 blah. Instead, you should use a cycle with a frequency of 0 and move through the wavetable by driving it with the output of a phaser set to the desired frequency, going into cycle's right inlet. Then whenever you want to reset the phase, send the desired phase into the right inlet of the phaser, which, unlike cycle, does reset the phase to that position immediately. So what I was trying to do is, if you change the value going into the inlet of the cycle, you're changing the amount that gets added to the phase, but it doesn't cause the cycle to leap to that location. So that kind of makes sense, but I just had no idea. So let's go ahead and try that. So what do I need to do here? So this is all junk. Tom blasting it with an Uzi. So what we need is a phaser, and this needs to be 0, like so. The phaser needs to come in here. Now let's set the phaser to a value. Okay, so we'll just make that 0.5 like we had before. Now we should be able to set this at the 0 crossing, maybe not a 0, maybe a 0.5, maybe a 0.75. So that sets it to the very top of the cycle. Let's try a 0.5. That's going to the bottom. It's a 0.25. And that's if we want it to go down, and it would be 0.75 if we want it to go up. Isn't that interesting? I'm very glad I learned that. Let's go with 0.75. Okay, so I'm going to set this to 60 Hertz, and the note-in is now going to trigger that 0.75. Okay. We good? I think we're good. Let's go. Right, let's look at the start of that. Still not quite right. Will it do the same thing though? Consistency would be nice. So it has done the wrong. Okay, let's try. Let's just try 0. I feel like there's a bit of a delay happening with like the whole chain of events and stuff, so let's see what happens when we hit it, send it 0. Okay, so that appears to be pretty much starting at the top point as expected. Let's try 0.25. I mean, it's not really going to make a difference, but I'm just curious to see what happens. And I will, I'm just going to, when I'm recording, I'm just going to click that a bunch of times just to see what happens to the waveform. So 0.25, see, it seems to be starting, it seems like the recording is happening just a little bit after where it needs to be. So let me just record this and go back into the patch and hit this. We're getting clicks, which is a good sign. Okay, now let's have a look at that recording over here. And you can see the waveform freaking out. So that's where I've clicked it there. Obviously it's going to do some weird shit to get itself back to the 0 crossing. There's another one. So, right. What do we do about that? what do we do about that, guys? Let's put in 2 Gs like this, just so we can see if this continues. Let's see if it starts at the right point when we get another G once the oscillator's already humming. Record. Let's go. So there was that second click. Where was it? Am I not triggering this right? Perhaps. Note in velocity, select 0. It should be working, but just to double check that, I'm just gonna loop this over and over. So that it's banging. So what I imagine is happening here is it's just taking its time to kick in the recording. So what we'll do to finish this video, and again I'm going to ask for you guys' help here, if you can advise me as to what I could do to get that nice and exactly on the dot. I might be playing with fire here. This could be a really difficult area of sound design and synthesis that I'm not aware of, but anything you can think of to get that working would be amazing. In the meantime, I'm going to just play that long note, and let's just have a look at the zero crossings at 60 Hertz, at 60 BPM. So once I've recorded this, that'll do. I'm just going to open this up, give it a boost, turn off warping, go and have a look at the start, and I will just move this across to roughly a zero crossing point. Say there, that looks good. And then we'll zoom in here, get rid of this envelope, close the grids. Oh, oh no, that doesn't look good. Make the grid size bigger. So we've got a zero crossing here on 1.3. What about 1.2? 1.2 has a zero crossing as well. Okay, I think this would be a bit easier for us to see if we have that. So let's go in here and change the frequency to, let's do 15. Oops, I just opened another copy of Ableton Live. What's my computer going to do? Let's just push on through. So we can't hear this obviously now because it's so low, but let's just hit record anyway. Okay, zoom in here. So we've got a zero crossing here. We got a zero crossing here, do we? Not really. Oh, that's because I haven't adjusted the start point. Let's just say there. Zero crossing. This one's at max high, which is good. So that means the next one should be a zero crossing. Yep, and then the next one should be down low. Okay, this is all starting to match up. Now, for fun, just for fun, I'm going to halve that again. So that would be 7.5. And then let's halve it again. So that would be 3.75, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, let's try that. Let's have a look at that. Super slow. It'd be interesting to see how Ableton Live draws this waveform as well. So we can't hear anything, of course. Ooh, look at that. You know what? I mean, this should be all good. I want to make this incredibly slow, and I just want to see, like, so this zero crossing is okay. Let's try it again. Interesting. And again. And again. So this is fine. So what's the problem with the faster BPMs? So what if I go 7.5? Let's try doubling it. That's fine. That's perfect. See how it starts perfectly there? But when I go to 15, is that okay? No, that's swayed out a little bit. Maybe this one did too, and I just didn't notice it because it's so big. Yeah, it's not exactly perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna to finish this video just for fun. Let's make this 0.5. Yeah, that'll do. And let's just have a look and see what Ableton does. Whoa, look at that. What's my follower on? What's the follower? Control Shift F. Look at that. Super cool. Alright. I'll leave that there. Again, give me some comments, guys. Give me some comments. I'll do some more thinking. Yeah, I might ask some friends of mine who are more clued up on this kind of thing. Anyway, catch you later.